Hello everyone, I'm here with Tech Motorsports and let's start the new episode. In this episode, it's going to be the removal of the drivetrain from the E36 Touring. So I feel that the home stretch is just right there. It's right there. Once we could get this engine out, start setting in the S54, it's just gonna, just can't wait to get to that part. So let's go ahead and get started with that process. But I would like to add, still having a little bit of mic issues, and I think with a couple of these clips the new mic have already came in and I'll be using it, so hopefully no more mic issues. So yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, there are some occasions where we do lay down on a job, and this is one of those moments. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be laying on my creeper, going underneath the car, because I can't raise my car or can't raise my lift all the way up due to height reasons, as in that there's no space to do so. So let's go underneath and let's look at the car from overseas. Wowzers. All right, so here's just going underneath from the front. I'm gonna try to keep this thing, a little on the dirty side. Looks like, got a little bit of a mess. The norm stuff, to be honest with you. I'm trying to get this darn light working a little bit better. There we go, let's do it this way. So, yeah, not too bad, not too shabby, except for there. See a little bit of maybe some rust, surface rust. Then we go down towards underneath. There's part of my lift, and this is where it gets interesting. There's a lot of surface rust type stuff, which is gonna make my life a living hell when I go do the differential. Now I know why DH did not want to do this, that bastard. So I'm gonna be putting a nice little call into him and be like, if anything breaks, I'm not held responsible. Look at all this craziness. Also, this diff is one tire fire. Darn it, I was actually looking for a spare diff. So yeah, that's what it looks underneath. Not too bad, but it's gonna definitely not be easy just with all those bolts. I already had one bolt break off that was rusted. So one down, and how many more to go? We will soon find out.
So the next thing I'm going to end up doing is just disconnecting it, getting this thing off the actual front subframe, and start laying down the S54. Okay, so I'm doing a little cleaning. The engine brackets that I have to use just look crappy. So here's the before and after. Mo better. Can't get everywhere, but I can at least make it look much more nicer than this ugly looking thing. So sweet, huh? Okay, so I got the other motor mount on the other side. I will not be utilizing the bracket that holds, that holds up the intake manifold. So that one's going out. But on this one, on this side, I had to do a little bit something different. Normally when I'm installing an S54, it's on a race car. So a lot of the stuff that I just dealt with was non-existent. But here we go. So I got the E36 bracket, and I utilized still the oil accumulator for the vanos. I still have that here, but what I had to do with this was get into place. I did have to bend this. I did have to bend the bracket a little bit outwards and put it upside down. Okay, so by doing that, there's a tab that's usually on the bottom that holds here. Well, that tab I bent out of the way so I could go ahead and get the accumulator in. So with this bracket here, I'm utilizing the actual bolts that this normally goes on, because the base of this one is longer than this one. So the hole's already there. And so what I end up doing is I still attach the accumulator to these holes, but on the block. And so I got that tightened, and what we'll have to end up doing is I did have to just slightly bend this hard line. So we are going to replace this hard line with a steel braided line. That way it forms so much better. So what we're going to do is I already measured the AC compressor as well. Remember, this AC compressor and this bracket is from the Euro spec M52, I think it's what it is. So the compressor does, from here to here, it does fit in. It will not hit or rub or even come close. It's actually going to be about an inch to maybe an inch and a half of gap between from the back of the air compressor to the accumulator. So just a little bit of finessing, but yeah, I got everything all squared away. And yeah, there's just had to bend this tab out of the way, and then this line is resting on that. So it'll be easy to replace. Should be easy to replace while the engine is in the car. Oh, I'm hoping it is. But yeah, so just to get it, fit in a little bit better, to get it in there, I had to bend the bracket here on the oil accumulator. So, but yeah, and I think that's it at this point. Now I'm just going to drop the engine on the E36 front chassis. Okay, so it's getting about that time. So I got my new motor mounts for the front subframe and for the engine, and then the transmission as well with the new brace. And yeah, I don't know what it is about new pieces, but I like installing new pieces. But sweet. So now I'm just going to go through and slide her in, drop her down, and hope it all goes easy. There she is. I feel better. So yeah, so now I just gotta tighten the bolts up. What I was doing is I was also keeping an eye on the the power steering line that comes from the power steering pump underneath, in between the actual oil pan and the cross member. Make sure there was nothing binding it up, and there is plenty of room, and everything looks good. So now I'm just gonna secure it down and install the headers. Okay, so now I'm ready to slide her in. Got the Euro headers installed. Beautiful. Got plenty of clearance for the shaft on that side, or for the steering shaft on the right side of the vehicle. And so on the power steering pump, because I kept the E36 from the E36 Touring, it was a little bit different. So what I had to do is I have spacers to get the power steering pump to be even with the actual accessory, pulley. So I was able to get that taken care of, put those on there, so that's fine and dandy. If it doesn't work out, we'll just have to try to replace it at a later point. And like if the belt keeps throwing or if he keeps walking off. By looking at it, of course, to the naked eye, it looks straight, but you know, sometimes things that look straight aren't straight. So yeah, so that's what we've got. And so yeah, now I'm just gonna slide it in, and this is pretty much as far as the wagon will go up to the roof, maybe a little bit more. And I'm right at the point to where I'm almost clearing the front bumper. So yep, let me start crossing my fingers so I don't hit the ceiling again. Okay everyone, so this is going to be the conclusion of this episode. We will be picking up the S54 install on the last and final episode. Yes, the end is near. The end is near. So as part of the build, we will be picking up on the next episode, which is going to be the rear subframe. So the rear subframe, if you've seen some footage on it from before, you can see it had a lot of surface rust. So it will be disassembled. We'll be treating that surface rust, and then in the interim we'll be replacing some bearings and some bushings as well. So keep an eye out for that episode. That's coming out soon. And like always, guys, please like and subscribe, help the channel out, and hope to see you in the next episodes.